Hey, on this Diddy Saturday, I hope everybody's doing good. I came on today to share some of my viewpoints on the Nolan Ryan case. Y'all, I have a lot of, if you know me, I ask questions. If you don't explain something right the first time, I'm going to have 1,000 questions. And I have questions just like Mississippi and the rest of the world, the rest of the nation who is witnessing this go on. I'm very inquisitive about some of the things that went on. But I wanted to give my opinion on what I think is going on. First and foremost, I live in Mississippi. I'm a black person. And I think that what I have to say matters in regard, and I'm a parent as well. And when I first heard of his death, I instantly thought this was some kind of ritual for an initiation to a racist organization or group. For those of you who do not know, it is very common in Mississippi to hear about black men being hung from trees that they cannot climb or use a ladder to get up to. It's not uncommon at all. It's very common to hear about racist acts of violence against black men in the area of Mississippi where I live and all over Mississippi. The difference where I live is, I was talking to somebody last week, the people they're overt in their minds, but they're covert in their actions. It's not so obvious, some of the racism, the racist things that they do and say. It comes out in situations like this with the Nolan case. My first concern is, and I was talking with somebody and I said, if this was Nolan, a black man, a young black man, or a young white man with a group of black friends, those black friends would have all been arrested immediately after, and if not arrested, they would have been brought in for questioning about what happened to Nolan. That's the difference in Mississippi and what goes down with white people and black people. There's so many different things I could tell y'all about that never make the national news. Some of them don't even make the news locally because it's a small town, and the only way you hear about it now is because of what's going on. Social media exposes a lot of things. But there's so many questions like, why was his phone missing? And at his age, that particular age group, they don't leave cell phones anywhere. And his keys, The other part is, for people who speculate and say, well, he drowned, it was an accident. Okay, that's fine, but nobody saw him drowning. Nobody was going to get in the water and help him. Were his friends there? And if his friends were there with him and he was drowning, why didn't they get in the water to try to help get him out? Like I said, Mississippi is very racist, and there are varying levels of racist. I made a video a couple of weeks about being racist and not having to be a part of a racist organization to be a racist. That is such a thing. You don't have to be part of a club, the Dixie Mafia or the KKK, to be considered racist. Not in my opinion. But they were so racist that they, as human beings, as a man, as a person, they wouldn't jump in and help him. And I don't know for sure, but I thought they said he could swim. But despite all of that, the way that this case is being handled is unbelievable because, excuse me, you got your butt knocked off, didn't you? You flew your ass right up there and got knocked out. That's on you. And then, the judge coming out, she did that for damage control. She wanted to basically say that she's not a bad person, therefore her stepson is not a bad person. And, I'm not saying that her stepson was engaged in anything to harm Nolan, but he might very well know something or have heard something. You're not going to tell me somebody on that coastal, Biloxi, Ocean Springs, Pascagoula, Gulfport, nobody knows anything or nobody's heard the truth of anything. I totally disagree. But the other part of that is, with the autopsy, Mississippi relinquishing the body to have a second autopsy done. There was no explanation as to why the parts were missing. Was the throat removed by Mississippi, or it was unclear to me in the video. Crump was talking about the throat was missing. So was it extracted through the mouth, or was it like bitten out of his, like, was it cut out? I was unclear on that, so I'm unsure. But despite whatever it was, how it was removed, Mississippi should have at least given a summary of what they had done. Not that they had findings that quick, but a summary of, was the throat like this when they got it, and this is why the throat is missing, and other things that just were unexplained, which makes Mississippi look very sketchy. Mississippi is one of the most corrupt states of the 50 United States, and I know that for a fact. The other part is the Tate Reeves engaging himself in this. I have never known of a governor to engage themselves in a crime that was committed that didn't involve the government itself. Like, why are you putting your 2 cents in? He came on a week ago and was saying that, he knew the judge and the coroner personally. Nobody cares. What is the point of you saying that? Again, you're trying to create character, be like a character witness for these people before they've even been committed. Been, accused of anything. The parent and the coroner down there, we didn't even have to know that he was friends with them. I don't see what the point of that was saying. The point of that was, I don't know if he was fear that the FBI had gotten engaged, and as soon as the FBI became engaged, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation became engaged as well. So I guess, he decided to have them go down there, or they took it upon themselves to go when the FBI was engaged, and maybe that's part of the policy or protocol. I don't know. But I think Tate Reeves should have not said anything. On top of that, he recently said just this week that he will charge Crump and oh my God, I forget his name. But you know what I'm talking about. The two I don't want to call them pioneers, but Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, who have been supporting the mother and the family of Nolan Wells this whole time, charged them with the crime of dividing Mississippi. Mississippi has always been burning. Mississippi has always been divided. We've never been a freaking kumbaya state, especially when it comes to black and white issues. Tate Reeves is out of his mind to even say something like that. And if he did try that, I would hope that they would countersue him and they would win, because what he's saying is ridiculous. I'm not doubting that, the families of those white boys are being threatened, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. People want to threaten them anyway because of what's going on. I don't know if black people are threatening them or white people are both. Probably a little bit of both. But to say that this issue was brought on by an attorney and an advocate for black rights to divide Mississippi. Mississippi has always been divided by race and by politics. Everything is complete, total racism, especially when it comes to the government and police, things of that nature. Don't be fooled. I think he should have not said anything. It makes him look even worse. Like, again, he's trying to do a form of damage control, because to my knowledge, I've not heard of any riots or fighting or anybody getting shot at or anything violent, but just the fact that he's talking about these people are being threatened. I don't know if that's why the FBI came here, or if they came because, his death was in, like, the water is like a different type of law. It's like maritime law. They're federal water, so to speak, the Gulf is, or the Atlantic, or whatever part of the ocean he was in. I think it was the Gulf, because of the Gulf of Mississippi, the Gulf of Mexico, on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. But anyway, I'm going to continue on in my next video about some other things I have opinions on in regards to Nolan's case.